How you doing? This is Dwayne from the Ninjas of Another Color podcast. Today is August 2nd. Please, it's your host. Rate us, review us at Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcast. Today we'll be talking about the Atlanta Braves, SEC movement, and much more. Let's get to it.
What do you say we go in uniform?
Why not? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go!
Yeah, let's go. Don't mind me. I went to the game on Sunday, and you know the results. So our first story is going to be the Atlanta Braves. They had this week 18 games in 17 days. They had 4 with Philadelphia, 5 with the Mets, and 3 with the Brewers. Possible playoff teams. They took 2 out of 3 series. They made some deadline trades. They revamped their outfield, got back Duvall, a guy from the Royals. They got pitching. And right now, starting catcher is going to come back probably next week. So this is going to be a big push. And the same thing happened on Sunday, which is Hank Aaron Day. Got a bobblehead. You might want to check it out. They couldn't score any runs yesterday. But I still think they're going to actually make the playoffs. They're going to win the East. Because, as I don't know if anybody knows, but Marcell Ozuna's felony case has been lessened to a misdemeanor. So if he's suspended, it'll probably be like 5 to 10 games instead of the 90 games or whatever. So he should be back hopefully September. If not, the cavalry is coming. Let's hit some highlights.
Adam Duvall, welcome back to Atlanta. Jock Peterson moving to center field, a position that he's used to. Look at that, 414 times he's played center field. And Jorge Soler, hopefully he will electrify that outfield and we'll get some production and score a lot of runs.
The bulldozer, 6'7", 250, coming right at people. So he goes to work, and we are underway with a fly ball hit to right. Soler on the run. He's in the middle of the warning track, and he leaps up and makes the catch. Soler hadn't played much outfield, and wouldn't you know it, the baseball gods say, here we go, you get the first ball at play. Another 1-2-3 inning, 9 pitches. That's impressive. Here come the Braves against Brandon Woodruff.
The big woo, Brandon Woodruff. Yeah, just outstanding numbers. He leads the National League in earned run average, second in all of baseball, only to Lance Lynn.
The 1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss, and there's strikeout number 1 for the big woo. Another strikeout for Brandon Woodruff. Not messing around with all these straight gas. 2 up, 2 down. On the ground, diving stop, Urias, and the pick from Escobar. We've talked about this team's work defensively, and another example right there. Okay, it's one on the ground and through, and a base hit.
second. And that gets away as the runners will advance. I thought it might hit. Yeah, it did hit him. There was no reaction, but now he did get hit in the foot. So Luis is on, and the bases are loaded. Pena, the 1-2 on the ground. A rally chance to get two, but the throw is wide. Albies able to hold the bag. A run will score.
So here's the debut of Jorge Soler. Former Cub, former Royal. Broken back, muscle into shallow left center, and out of reach of Adames. And Jorge Soler debuts with a broken bat hit. Smoked and into right field. This guy keeps hitting. He's got to keep playing.
It was 0-2 when Lance Lynn got him. 0-2 now, and this time to the breaking ball. Leaning over.
Great pitch right there by Mullen to get Wong.
This is Adames is down on strikes, and Muller's gone into more of an attack mode here in this third inning. Strike three, just struck out the side. Look at Muller.
Comes a 1-2. Change-up right back to Woody. Side retired. Nice clean inning for Brandon Woodruff. And that missed, so the Brewers have runners at first and second.
The pitch. Strike three at the letters. Muller gets out of it. Riley at first with one out. And that's smoked into left center field, a base hit. Riley around second. He's chugging toward third. He's going to make it without a throw. Hit number 500 for Soler, who's 2 for 2. And Dansby flied out to right his first time up. Let's see what he can do here with first and third, one out in the fourth inning. That's why. Game time. Exactly right. Back-to-back hits for Atlanta. Dansby didn't wait. That's RBI number 51. Long anchored at first. The pitch. Popped him up. Right behind the plate. Vogt throws the mask, staggers it back, makes the play, and Kyle Muller is through 5 with a 1-1 game. Nice job, kid. Bangs off the bricks, going to third is Peterson, turning third, running home through the goal. It's in time. Here's John Peterson.
See that this year. Let's get thrown out. Nobody had last night.
Woodruff delivers. Oh, missed it. Shallow left center. Tyrone Taylor gets it away. So good work. He'll hold. Lane with a chopper. Freeman. Chavez. And he bobbled it. Yes, sir. He's safe. Never had it. Well, never controlled it.
Runners lead with 2 out. On the ground, Riley vacuums that up. And he makes the peg to first. Jesse Chavez works around the walk and the error and preserves a tie. Home 6th coming up. Oh, Dansby may have been taking a step toward the Braves dugout, and Manny Pena's letting C.B. Buckner have it.
Bad decision there by Dansby.
Duvall's running. Pitch is hammered toward left center field. Came back. Turn. Whoa! Braves win it. Instead of strike 3, it's a 2-run homer. And Pena and C.B. Buckner are still talking about it.
How about that exit velocity? 102 off the bat.
Back up the middle, but right into the shift. Ozzy's got it, and the inning is over. Little chop over the mound. Tough play, funny spin. Ozzy beats it out. Put it in play with 2 strikes. As Freddie shoots one that way, it's a base hit. Freeman's got his second hit. Hot shot. Oh, what a play. Long throw to first, and Escobar can't hang on. That run is in. What a play by Adames and Escobar. First game at first base. Can't hang on. And now Swanson, the 7th man to hit in the inning. Swing and a high fly ball down the left field line. Can he keep it fair at the pole? It hits the pole. And it's a grand slam for Dansby. A great opportunity for Richard Rodriguez to debut for Atlanta. Double play ball. There's one. There's two. Welcome to Atlanta, Mr. Rodriguez. 2 singles, but 2 for the price of 1. Not a safe situation for Will Smith. And you might wonder why Brian Snitker is bringing Smith in a game like this. He's pitched twice in 11 days. Jackie Bradley Jr., their final hope. And on the ground, Freddie's got it. Fair ball. He'll flip to Smith. Close play. Got him, and that's your ball game. 8-1 Braves win.
Yep. They won the second game of the series, but they lost the series yesterday 2-1. Like I said, I still think they're going to win the East because they have reinforcements coming. Yeah, the Mets made a trade to get Baez, but we get Oscar Ynoa, Ozuna, Ian Anderson, and Travis d'Arnaud. With the revamped bullpen, we won't blow leads like we used to. And at the game yesterday, TV doesn't do them any justice. Those guys are huge. Those are linebacker-sized guys, what I was watching. All right, Dansby had a big night, and there was a question online about, is he a top 5 shortstop in the major leagues? I say he's top 10 because I can name 5 more. But if you want to chime in, you can reach us at Ninja of Another Color, Gmail, IG, and we're on Twitter. This is Ninja of Another Color podcast. Rate us, review us, give us a good review so we can take over the world. And our next topic is the Snake Eyes movie. It did bad in the theaters because they put it in the theaters. They should have released it online. They rewrote the story. Check it out. But it's a good free movie if you see it, because I saw it on can't say how I saw it, but I saw it. They rewrote the story. Spoiler alert. Yeah, his dad was a spy. I don't know how, but hey, if they're gonna rewrite the G.I. Joe mythology universe, that's a good thing. The next thing we're gonna talk about, Transformers Kingdom came out, 5 episodes. It was okay. Mixed reviews. They did what they did the last time. They tried to write 3 storylines at the same time, which didn't make any sense, but hey, whatever. It's on Netflix. Again, if you can see it for free, see it for free. The diehards not might like it, but the new generation will. Moving on, Flash. The season finale. I did not watch it, so like I said, I think the next season's the last season. Give me more Norwest Allen, I'll be good. And this one is, I think they jumped the shark, but it's best bet that next season they will probably be the last season of Flash, because they're doing the Flash movie and everything like that. But I'll review it again because I gotta watch it. It just that it jumped the shark, so I'm not really paying attention. Alright, this is Ninjas of Another Color podcast. Rate us, review us, give us 5 stars at Google, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast. The next story is episode 4 of The Bad Batch. This one is a good one. This one was a rescue mission because we had a cameo on this one. They went to save I think Gregor, maybe Gregor, might be wrong, but it was a good one. Check it out.
I received a distress signal from a clone trooper, but I'm a bit tied up at the moment to retrieve him. I need you to get him out.
Out of what, exactly?
I'm sending you a signal. I'll be in touch.
Rex wouldn't ask us for help if it wasn't urgent.
We are in the middle of a job for Sid.
No money means no food.
Oh, yeah. Tech's got a point.
But Rex's friend is in trouble. That's more important than getting paid.
We'll check things out. But I don't like it.
And the Kaminoans?
We have our orders. Keep an eye on them until the time is right.
Your training will continue elsewhere.
We'll still be soldiers, won't we?
That is what you were made for.
I fear they will destroy us rather than allow this operation to continue. Gather those essential. I will arrange for our departure.
We're already too late. The clone was being hunted and was dragged that way. This looks like some sort of military base. Not one that I've ever heard of. We'd be going in blind without any reinforcements. You did that on Skeko Minor when you rescued me. I'd still be trapped in that place if you hadn't. We have to try to get him out.
Hey, newbie. How about you be useful? Get me some food.
Quiet, traitor.
That's Captain Trader. Insubordinate plebe. The name's Gregor. Now let's move out. Defective clones. If you ask me, it's the ones who want to stay here who are really defective.
These are not clone troopers.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. These are our replacements. If I'm the one who escaped here before,
And you were captured.
after I made it out.
I thought you said you trained these guys.
I didn't teach them everything. That wouldn't be very smart, would it?
What do you mean there are replacements?
We clowns are soldiers of a republic that doesn't exist. These recruits come from all over the galaxy. They're not as skin, but there's an endless supply of them.
Numbers out everything.
How can you be so relaxed? Should have heard from them by now. What if something went wrong?
This is nothing. I got blown up once and survived. I can survive this. I was sent here with other commandos. It turns out the Empire doesn't take too kindly to desertion.
They're closer!
I can't hold it!
That is sufficient. I'll take it from here. Wrecker, get on the tail gun.
Donkey! We need you!
Get the ship out of here. The odds of escape are not in your favor.
Turn around! We have to go back for him! Order them to come back!
Sorry, kid.
Your chief scientist was gathering medical personnel to flee Camino. A scientist I have use for. I'm afraid your services are no longer needed.
I figured you'd show up. I was hoping for the whole squad, but you'll do.
Yep. Crosshair and Hunter. This week was a rescue mission. I liked it. Gregor making a cameo and sets up for, him returning into the fold, maybe? Got 2 more episodes until season 1. I haven't seen anything say it's going to be renewed for season 2 yet. Oh, I might be wrong, but hopefully it gets a season 2. I like that they showed that Hunter is thinking like chess, 2 steps ahead. He didn't want to get captured, but when he got captured, he was betting that Crosshair will be there and he can talk him into coming back. Alright, next week, episode 15. Come back and check us out with my review. Alright, The next story is Revelations. I only watched it once, but like my last review was, the only problem I have with it is the musical score. The musical score sucks. But everybody's going on a rant over 5 episodes. It's 5. And listening to, I guess, these people complain is like, change is not good with them. Why is change not good with them? But I'm going to let you listen to one reviewer. Let's see what he says.
What's happening, Magnus? Alright, so I just got done finishing Masters of the Universe Revelation. Okay, so let me get this straight. So, first of all, I already know that the main problem with most fans, the issues is that we were led to believe it was gonna be like He-Man's show, and that's not what we got. We got something that appears to be mainly focused on Tilo. Now, they've killed 4 characters. Okay, so you have Moss Man dead, then He-Man, then Orko, then Roboto. So they killed all these off. He-Man gets killed twice, or at least out of commission. So they put the sword back together, they restore Castle Grayskull. And as soon as he's about to say, I have the power, Skeletor stabs him right through the back. So is he dead or is he not? I'm going to assume that he's not dead because in the afterlife... Well, first of all, in the afterlife, they told him there was no coming back. So if he died again, I don't know where he's going. But I've heard rumors that there's a huge fight between Skeletor and He-Man that is going to come up later in the show. So, you know. I'm not cool with them killing Orko off like that. Like he just was able to realize his true potential in a way, and they killed him. They killed Moss Man off like that in the beginning. And I think we could have did more with Roboto. Like, I'm one of those fans that, look, when you kill a character, first of all, death is never needed as far as I'm concerned. I've had plenty of fun with plenty of stories and cartoons and stuff. Death is never needed to make something more enjoyable or impactful, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Just like, I had another point too. But death, to me, is never needed. It isn't. It really isn't. Another thing is that, anyway, I can't remember the points that I wanted to make. I think my thoughts are just running all over the place. But, I mean, I think if people were told that this series was not really focused on He-Man, I think they would have gone in suspecting something different. It's not a bad series. It's alright. Like, if I was somebody that never knew who He-Man was, never watched the other series, and just came into this, I'd be like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. You know, like, I would assume that he's going to come back and everything, but I don't know. It's alright. It's alright. I'm not really impressed. Skeletor, I still keep hearing the Joker. Like, it's throwing me off. I wish they had just brought back the original voice for Skeletor. I don't know. You guys asked me to give it a chance, and I did. I gave Dragon Ball Super a chance, and I hate that series. Okay? You know, so I'm willing to watch something all the way through, but,
Hold on. Dragon Ball Super? What's wrong with this man? He's goddamn crazy, and I do agree. you hear Skeletor as the Joker more than Skeletor. Also, Kevin Conroy as Batman, as Merman, you can hear it. But I don't agree with Super. He'll be alright.
The only reason why I'm willing to watch more of this, literally the only reason, is because I do think that he's still going to be alive. Maybe I'll get my fix of He-Man in this, but the series is okay. I like the art and the animation, and but yeah, as we all know, it's definitely forced female heavy, just like a lot of stuff now. So knowing that in the back of your mind, it's very irritating. But other than that, I mean, if I was a guy coming into this, I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 5 woos. Like, if I didn't know nothing about He-Man, I would give it 4 out of 5 woos. I would. Just like, he just wasn't bad. People that didn't grow up with him, that don't get it. But for the fans, it's like, die hard. It's like He-Man, He-Man's back, and then all you keep seeing him is in memories and reflections and illusions, and he gets killed once and then possibly killed twice. It's just like, Then Skeletor turned into Super Shredder at the end, using the power sword. So whatever, man. Whenever the second season comes, I'm willing to check it out. I really am. Hopefully it'll redeem itself. You know what I mean? Just because a character gets killed off, I mean, it's not going to be good. Like, I like Transformers, I know they eventually brought back Prime, after they killed him, but I still enjoyed Hot Rod and, that season with Galvatron and all that. I still enjoyed it, not as much as I enjoyed it, though, with Prime. So, they brought back Prime to help save the series, but, I think they're definitely going to have to do this to bring back, they're going to have to bring back He-Man to save the series. They are. I know they're getting a lot of backlash. There's nothing wrong with trying new things, but there's also not, you can kind of straddle the line with trying new things, without going too far left, no pun intended, without going too far left. You can straddle the line and still make things really good without going too far and, subverting expectations, like, The Last Jedi did, and just... Post comments down below, let me know what you thought. If you enjoyed my review of...
Kind of didn't enjoy the review, but this shows what I've always been saying. The people who are complaining really don't know the history of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. What they're basing it on is what they saw in Filmation. Some people got to remember, the toys came out before the cartoon. There was a comic book done, and Prince Adam wasn't in the comic book. He-Man was a barbarian. So, a lot of people who are complaining, they probably think they know a lot, but hey, Masters of the Universe was a comic book, and if you really want to get a little more backstory, go to the Battle for Eternity. There's a mega comic book by DC. If you read that, then you'll probably get more acclimated to it. This is Ninjas of Another Color podcast. Read us, review us at Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us 4 stars, even 5 stars. 5 stars would be better, because we love that you give us 5 stars. This is what I'm talking about. And another thing, the reason why that this incarnation is kind of not good, because of the transformation. Also, before I forget, If you notice how the sword got split in two, that was original in the comic book, but it's also a scheme from Black Star. Alright kids, Google Black Star, come back and check it out. Alright, the transformations of He-Man and She-Ra, check this out.
By the power of Grayskull.
See, that's the new He-Man and the new She-Ra. Don't get it. It's good for some of y'all, but it's not good for me. Check this out.
By the power of Grayskull.
For the honor of Grayskull.
Move, Ted.
Call me a homer, but guess what? Can't beat the original. Cannot beat the original, no matter what you say, no matter what happens. You cannot beat the original. Alright, we're going to make a poll on our Facebook account. Which one do you like? The 2000s or the original? And our Facebook page is Ninjas of Another Color Podcast. Ninjas of Another Color. You can search it, and you'll find it. You'll see the same picture as the podcast. And I'm gonna vote for the 80s, but you never know. You never know. All right, moving on to our main story tonight. Our main story is there has been movement. Texas and Oklahoma has been accepted to the SEC. They're moving to the SEC at the latest of 2025, but they can buy themselves out to do next year, and they're going to buy themselves out. As much as boosters as both schools have, yes, they're going to buy themselves out. And I just saw today that Clemson and FSU, I don't know how true it is, that they want to get into the SEC network. I don't think it's a good idea, but hey, it's whatever. All right, we're going to hear some scenarios about realignment, college realignment. Check it out.
Wild realignment scenarios. Okay? And again, slapstickscomedy.com. Open mic is on Thursday, karaoke Wednesday. Ty Wynn, the headliner this weekend. So go ahead and see him. I'm there August 6th and 7th, so come see me. All right, top 5 wild realignment scenarios. And I'll just preface this why. Number 5 is kind of on its own, and numbers 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 are together, guys. They're kind of packaged. All right, number 5. The Big 12 merges with the Pac-12 to form a 20-team Super League. How do you feel about that?
No.
No?
Not in any way. Don't like it?
You either don't, are you saying no, it's not going to happen?
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, right now, any of the remaining teams in the Big 12 would be thrilled to be attached to a Power 5 conference since they're about to not be one if they're not careful.
Yeah, I think the Big 12 schools would do this in 2 seconds, most likely, as long as, revenues and all that were equal. But, yeah, it seems very unlikely. I'd still think the Pac-12 would have a bit of an issue with Baylor's religious affiliation, if not TCU's as well. I think that would come into play. Politics would come into play. And yeah, I just don't see the Pac-12 being willing to do that.
So West Virginia is going to go from East Coast to Central Coast to Mountain Time and Pacific Time.
Exactly. That would also be a headache galore for the Mountaineers.
For football, no one cares. It's one flight. It's a few times a year. The problem comes when you're playing baseball and softball and volleyball and around track and tennis and all that. It becomes a real problem. All right, number 4. Baylor and West Virginia to the ACC. Notre Dame stays independent.
If the ACC wants either one of them, which we don't know, but I would, if I'm Mac Rhodes and that call came in today, you don't just say yes. I know you say, oh yeah, you do. No, but that to me is very interesting and enticing. And Notre Dame staying independent, well, I think they're going to do that no matter what.
I think they're going to do that until their hand is absolutely 100% forced.
See, this just makes me believe that there is no way the grant of rights stays in the way that it is now, because we've already had 5 scenarios where somebody says, hey, would you like Baylor to go to this? And automatically, yep, as soon as they get a phone call. And I have no doubts that every other fan base, all 7 others in the Big 12, feel the same way. So we're certainly a good thing we're not in charge of keeping things together to get that big buyout from Texas and Oklahoma, because the fans would have already split this conference 8 different ways.
I'll just tell you, I'm such a cynic, Craig, that if I was in charge of the Big 12 offices, I'd be like, go to the liquor store, ask them for boxes. They always have them. Pack up the office like that. That might have been my mindset. I
don't know that Baylor and West Virginia bring enough to make it worth it for the ACC. I think that they could both fit in really nicely. I do think that Notre Dame will stay independent.
Yeah. Number 3, Texas Tech, TCU, Kansas State, and BYU, if that would happen, would go to the Pac-12.
Well, why would BYU not be in the Pac-12 already?
Well, and again, that's a good point.
But they don't like religious schools.
Yeah, getting to 16, yeah. I'm just trying to get them to 16.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's just kind of a...
Yeah, I don't think BYU obviously would make the cut there with the Pac-12. I mean, they could have done that a long time ago if that was the case.
They also have their own TV.
I mean, that's the thing, too, is like, everybody's talking about Notre Dame needs to do this, and Notre Dame's like, no, we don't. And then everybody thinks, well, BYU should just go join the Big 12. I'm sure that BYU has interest. I know they do from the last round of this, but at the same time, like, they don't need to be any rush either. They're set more so than a lot of other schools.
Most of BYU's TV is
Texas Tech, TCU, but not Baylor?
Well, because I was... You didn't pay attention to me. You give it a merit. I said 4 and 3 are tied together, and 2 and 1 are tied together.
All right. Okay. Well,
it's a B- for today so far, Smokey. You can
I was a Dean's List guy.
If we had a chalkboard, you have a frowny face right now. You wouldn't get cookies after recess.
Oh, this has been simple.
All right. Number 2. Okay. Oklahoma State and Kansas to the Big 10 together. Now this is a different scenario.
These aren't tied in together.
They're kind of tied in together, but there you go. But so here, Oklahoma State and Kansas, not Iowa State and Kansas.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about Oklahoma State in the Big Ten all that much, honestly. I don't know about the AAU thing and all of that stuff either with Oklahoma State, nor does it really matter. But I don't know that the Big Ten's all that interested in even Kansas. I mean, I understand the basketball thing, but how about the rest of it? The rest of it kind of sucks. I mean, it really does. There's not a whole lot to write home about. We know about the football program. They're in a mess of messes right now as far as just the top of the leadership and what's gone on there. And there's
not to mention there are dumpster fire problems that they're dealing with, right?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, like, they're dealing with dumpster fires all over the place. So I don't know that would prevent the Big Ten if the Big Ten was legitimately interested, but I just don't know how interested they really are. Everybody's kind of assuming they're going to be the next to just jump up and go grab teams, and it seems to me that they're more interested in this Pac-12 scheduling thing or something along those lines, more so than adding 2 teams who, okay, Kansas in basketball will bring a little bit of money, but how much are they really bringing? Are they going to make the Big Ten teams, if they expand, actually make less money? Because there's a good chance of that. And in that case, then what's the point of adding those 2 teams if you don't have
Other than Oklahoma and Texas, Oklahoma State has the 3rd highest level of eyeballs that watch their football team among the Big 12.
And the thing about it though is
It's a drop off, but they're third.
But if you look at it when you're trying to renegotiate, what the SEC will be able to renegotiate is they'll be able to get everybody more money by adding teams. There won't be it's not like less money where you have the same pie. They're growing their pie. Everybody's going to get a bigger slice of a bigger pie.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case with some of these schools.
Yeah, basically they're how'd you phrase the pie thing?
Bigger slice of bigger pie.
Yeah, well, their slices of pie, the SEC, are filled with the goodies inside. They're filled with, whatever your topping is or your flavor filling is. Whereas adding Oklahoma State and Kansas, if you're the Big Ten, it's kind of like getting pie that has no taste to it.
The SEC is a pinata with a bunch of yummy.
All right. And number one that would go in this scenario would be, listen, this is, again, Notre Dame just deciding that they have to get in the league. Notre Dame, Baylor, West Virginia, Iowa State to the ACC for an 18-team league. Does that do anything for you?
Kind of feel the same way about what I just said as far as the Big Ten and whether it would lower the actual money being made by the schools already in place. I don't know the logistics of what this would do. But man, I just don't see a lot of the appeal. There's nobody left that's going to go make any conference that much better right away.
See, part of the reason I did this top 5 today was because I wanted your opinions on this, because you hear all these scenarios, and so I took all these scenarios. Essentially, these are not from my brain; these are from the internet, and let's put them.
I hope that's not your brain.
Yeah, no, but let's put them into practice and like look at them practically. And again, there's holes in all of it, which makes this so much more confusing.
And which makes the move by the SEC that much more brilliant. I mean, they made the ultimate move. The only thing they could have done that would have been, I don't know if it would have been bigger, but would have been on the level and maybe a tad bigger, would have been going and pulling Ohio State and Michigan out of the Big Ten. Or Clemson, Florida State out of the ACC. I mean, that was a big boy, big you-know-what move by the SEC. And, they not only were already the best conference, and then they added the best possible duo they could, not named on the same level as Ohio State, Michigan, etc. But now they've left everybody else not only running around with their heads cut off, but with not really a whole lot else to offer when you think about it. I mean, who's out? There's no OU or Texas out there. There's brands that have value. There's brands that have positives, but all of them, to your point, have negatives as well.
Well, I think they were realigning to get more money, so that's what they did. They set it up where they can get more money. The next clip gives you a great explanation. It's one of my favorite podcasts. It's Dan Lamitard, and John Skipper is explaining when he was at ESPN what Texas and OU joining the SEC means.
The news is breaking now that Texas and Oklahoma have told the SEC, hey, we're coming. We are on our way, and we're fortunate here at Meadowlark Media. Our CEO started the Longhorn Network, the SEC Network, the ACC Network, and so he could walk us through the business of some of what it is that's happening here.
What's he doing with us?
It is a little bit curious. John Skipper is with us, so tell us what it is that's happening here. This is just a money grab, right? We've just realized that greed at the highest end right now is Texas and Oklahoma are saying, never mind about the history and tradition or anything. We got to go over there in that conference where they're splitting up a bunch of money that we don't get to split up over here.
Well, that is essentially correct. It's long ago gone away that anybody cares about geography or even really cares about rivalries, right? I mean, when Texas A&M fled to the SEC, they left behind their greatest rivalry because they wanted to get at the SEC money. This is just about trying to stay at the top of college football. College football drives an enormous amount of contributions from alums. It drives prestige. It drives admission. It's really what drives the media rights deals is college football. And right now, Texas, which has one of the great brands, even though, as Jessica pointed out yesterday, it's been quite a while since they won anything, it's still arguably the biggest brand in football. There was a moment in time back in like 2010-11 where Texas was at the center of all college football, right? They were responsible for holding the Big 12 together, or they could have gone to the Big 10, which was trying to get them, or they could have gone to the Pac-12, where there was a plan to create a Pac-16 and a super conference. And the Longhorn Network is what kept them in the Big 12 and kept the Big 12 together.
And you built that Longhorn network. I'm just sort of curious because you had this network that was bidding on the rights, but you also had a journalistic arm that was reporting on these details. I imagine when they're greasing the rails to leave, they're reaching out to a television partner, so you're hearing about it kind of first, and you have to report on that, and that's kind of an interesting position that you're in.
It is an interesting position, potential conflict, you're dead on. And we handle it by keeping everybody except for me. The programming guys worried about trying to buy the rights. The business guys tried to worry about making sure we still made the money. And at that instance, we decided that, well, by the way, Texas had decided to do a network. We didn't give them the idea. But we knew that if we did the network, we could entice them to stay in the Big 12, keep them together. That was important to us. We already had a Pac-12 deal, but the Fox was ascendant in the Pac-12. And we didn't want to see Texas go to the Pac-12.
Can you explain to us the dollars we're talking about here? Why is it, you were explaining to us yesterday in the other room, how many more millions are available here to Oklahoma and Texas now with this partnership than would be available to them otherwise?
Well, ultimately, it's easily $20 million, $30 million, $40 million. The gap will keep getting bigger because of the SEC network, which makes a lot of money, because of the new ESPN deal for the CBS game, which they paid over $300 million for. I can almost do the math. If there were 15 teams, not 16, that's $20 million per team. Eventually, Texas will get into that money.
$300 million for a game.
The Saturday afternoon game.
$300 million for one game. Compare that to where they were.
Well, at one point, the entire television deal for the Pac-12 right now, or the Big Ten, is about $300 million.
So that's for one game you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's why this is happening, right?
Yeah, that's the big 3:30 CBS game, which does as good a ratings as Thursday night NFL, right? They're doing 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, and as absurd as it sounds like, it seems as though ESPN got a crazy good deal, because now Texas and Oklahoma come to the network. Is there any chances?
I doubt that all of that is unrelated. I would not assume that this is just happening, that one day the Texas and Oklahoma guys woke up. I would guess that it's a logical sequence of events, that now the ESPN has all of the SEC. Now they bring Texas and Oklahoma in. Think of all the good games you get. Yeah. Just think about Oklahoma and Auburn and Texas and
the potential postseason door that's been opened up with 2 separate conferences, a possible semifinal. $55 million is what CBS used to pay for that package, Dan.
But they get the best of the SEC matchups, which is incredible when you consider the teams that we were just discussing. But the Big 12 is done, John. So does that even matter in the grand scheme of things?
It certainly matters to Kansas State and Iowa State and those teams who now have to figure out what to do. Doesn't matter. I mean, there's tradition, but tradition's already been thrown away, right?
Yes.
So the Big 12 tradition is Frank Broyles and Darrell Royal and Texas, Arkansas. That doesn't exist anymore, right? All that exists now is, can I get to the top of the pyramid? The Big 10 is there, the SEC is there, the ACC and Pac-12 will try to keep up. The Big 12 feels like it'll be a scramble now for who can find a home where.
And I think a lot of people think that the other conferences will also be scrambling now to try to consolidate either some of the Big 12 teams that are remaining, or even AAC teams or a group of 5 teams that might make them a bigger super conference, because it sounds like the way this is going is that in a few years there might just be 4 super conferences, which was like this whole thing that's been around, kind of floating around in the ether for a while for college football fans, and Texas and Oklahoma kind of just started it, kind of saw into the future a little bit.
Well, there is some logic to having 4 16-team conferences. It adds up to 64. There's a lot of impediments to it still, right? You'd like to start with a white sheet of paper and take the top 64 teams, but you can't, right? You've got some teams that are in there that are odd fits.
Rutgers.
Rutgers clearly is an interesting fit.
Big Ten would still tout the recruiting pipeline that opened up there. But from a prestige factor, you look at what's left of the Big 12, you'd probably say Kansas is one of the more appealing programs because of the basketball program. Does basketball matter at all when it comes to dollars and cents here?
With dollars and cents, basketball is about 1/5, right? You're doing those conference deals into about 80% football, 20% basketball, with the possible exception of the ACC, where maybe it's more 65-35. So the ACC will be fine. Oddly enough, they wouldn't be a bad home for Kansas, though geographically it's crazy. Though it does bring in another state for the conference network, and that has to be kept in mind.
Why does that matter? Because people point out with Oklahoma that that's a big deal.
Because if you add a college from a state you're already in, you don't get any more distributor fees, right? They add Texas. They've already got Texas A&M. There's no new money from the state of Texas. They add Oklahoma. They now have to pay a distribution fee in Oklahoma. If the ACC added Kansas, you'd have to add Kansas. And by the way, even with fairly small populations, it's still a lot of money for those networks, which all are above $1. So $1 for every good citizen of the state who has a pay TV sub, which is declining, but still a lot of people. The other place for Kansas, of course, is to go to Big Ten, and it would make no difference for their football. They would lose the same amount of games they lose now. The harder part, too, is the schools can't kick anybody out, right? Now, that would be the ultimate sort of difficulty, which is, I'm not even going to say names. I'll let somebody else say.
Can we kick out, are you talking about like in the SEC? You're talking about, can we...
Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt's bringing up that GPA by itself. That's why Vandy is there.
I don't know, Clark Lee also.
They are. I had a son who went to Vanderbilt. I must tell you, it was not always pleasant to look into the Vanderbilt Stadium and see it full of Alabama fans.
But what is legitimately to keep the SEC from saying, you know what, get out of here, Vanderbilt, we want Ohio State?
Nothing. It's a good question.
They should do it.
I think there may be some governance things. I'm not sure they could do it without everybody agreeing, the schools agreeing. It's an interesting phenomenon which I don't think has ever happened.
I also don't think that conferences can recruit schools to join them. I think the schools have to initiate the move, because that's kind of what's happening with the Texas and Oklahoma thing right now. The SEC can't admit.
Yeah, but everyone's noticing that this is what's the play here.
Right, I understand, but if you're Texas A&M and the SEC is violating your agreement and going out and recruiting your in-state rival, then you're going to have a problem with that. But the SEC can kind of play dumb and say,
in the dirtiness
you kind of play dumb and be like, oh, Texas reached out to us and it makes sense, so here we are.
I doubt that Texas A&M has an agreement that they can't bring in another Texas school. This is a lot like dating in high school, right? It's not clear who asked whom when the prom comes around. Usually there's a way for somebody to make sure that Evelyn knows that Billy or Jane wants to take him or her to the prom. Somehow they figure it out. So I don't think Texas had to be asked or Texas had to ask.
What are the money issues that you think the audience would find interesting here? You have a working knowledge that we don't have here about the money that's involved here and what this play will mean for 10 years from now.
Well, it just means that the bigger schools are going to get bigger. It's going to be harder to intrude into the club. Somebody yesterday said on the air there's 15 to 20 schools that overwhelmingly dominate college football. It's not even that many, right? If you look at the 4 who get into the playoffs, it's Clemson, it's Alabama, it's
and
LSU.
Notre Dame, yeah.
Ohio State.
Notre Dame has to be taken to the slaughter. I know we've got a fan here. Has to be taken to the slaughter every now and then.
They covered, but yeah.
They're one of the most they're one of the most interesting players here because they do have the choice. They value, and it's been great for them, their independence. But they do have to be careful that it's not musical chairs and that everybody doesn't get into a 16-team conference and they're the last one standing. And the ACC, on the other hand, has to worry not to give away the 15th and 16th spot in case Notre Dame became available. It was one of the benefits of COVID for them is suddenly Notre Dame was an ACC school for a year.
And the TV partners definitely benefited from that, considering how they gamed the system, so Notre Dame couldn't find their way into that championship game. I'm going to ask you a question, and please don't laugh at me, because you mentioned the ACC. Yeah, but you had Clemson at home.
We were undefeated.
So were you, jeez.
So, how much does academics matter? Because with the ACC, we've read in the past that West Virginia would actually make a lot of sense for them, but they don't meet the academic standard. And this would be a hurdle in maybe making an overture to a UCF, which is actually a really attractive school, not just because their football program has gained notoriety, but they have the biggest alumni base in Florida. It's a diamond in the middle of the state right now to be had, but their academic standards aren't ACC standard.
It's interesting, Mike. I mean, it matters to some schools, right? Doesn't matter to other schools. Duke and Wake Forest and North Carolina and Virginia are going to want to have that. That was why they had a problem with West Virginia last time and didn't want to take them. In the Big Ten, you've got Michigan and Ohio State, and they really care. I forget what there's a standard for schools that are in a certain association that the Big Ten is very proud of and has never taken anybody who wasn't in that. Oklahoma, whatever it is, Oklahoma State's not in. And I don't think Baylor's in. So they have a problem. And on the West Coast, Berkeley cares. And UCLA cares and USC cares. Stanford cares.
Can the money get to a place where they stop caring?
Apparently so, yes. I do believe in almost all matters of the heart, soul, mind, enough money can tend to overcome an issue.
So is Clemson better off in the ACC? I want every team now moving to the SEC, or should they consider a move to the SEC?
Clemson should be very happy to be in the ACC. They got an easier path to a football championship, which is what they care about every year. Would do nothing for the SEC because they already have a South Carolina school.
Right.
Now, interesting enough, a North Carolina school would be very valuable to the SEC because North Carolina is the 9th largest state in the country in terms of population. Little known fact from a Tar Heel.
You want your Tar Heel?
No, I did not want Carolina. No, I did not want Carolina. It would make the basketball would become easier. But no, you would have not. You have to be in the same conference as Duke because you got to play them in basketball.
What's this all going to look like in 10 years?
It's gonna be super conferences, and it's going to be more and more concentration at the top. There is one interesting thing, just to create a little fun here, which is, in fact, the basketball tournament is an interesting thing too. If you created 4 16-team super conferences, the basketball conferences play in the NCAA tournament by choice. There is nothing that would prevent a breakaway basketball tournament.
Oh, wow.
I think there's also some people who think that this 4 super conference thing in college football could mean that the college football programs break away from the NCAA as well and kind of form a minor league college football program, I guess, with college affiliations.
I think that's right, Jessica, and that was why I was sort of suggesting that one way to gin up a whole bunch more money is, we're going to have a new basketball tournament, and the 64 teams works naturally that all 64 teams could come into the tournament. One would play 64, so all of the super conference teams would make the tournament, and the current tournament with some independents and other conferences
would fall apart. Would be irrelevant.
It would become the what's the second tournament?
The NIT.
NIT.
Could the schools just do this at any time? Could all the Florida schools just band together and be like, we're going to make a Florida conference? Imagine the TV deal we'd get that way.
No. I think that the schools have binding agreements that are tied to the TV agreements. So if the SEC agreement's through 36 or 35, and the ACC agreement's through 36, they cannot leave without negotiating an exit, which is one reason that Oklahoma and Texas are moving now, is the Big 12 contract is coming up. So it's within the amount of money they can negotiate that they're going to negotiate an exit from the Big 12. So it'll probably happen earlier than 25 or 26.
But do any of the schools have a binding agreement with the NCAA as the governing body who gets to give them the rules, but they don't obviously have anything to do with the college football playoff as it is right now?
I do not think. I think that the NCAA oversight does not have anything that binds the schools to actually do it if they don't want to.
Just to be clear then, John, the reason that this is happening is because the SEC will split up more money, and this will mean for Texas and Oklahoma in the short term, as soon as they join, somewhere between $20 to $40 million a year more than they're getting from their conference now. There's no, whatever second place on the reason for doing this is a distant second. That's the reason.
That's correct. I mean, remember the one when Maryland actually exposed the numbers, right? The president of Maryland, whose name was Wallace something, I forget what, who previously been a president at Big Ten school, decided to join the Big Ten, and he just said it's money. In X number of years, we're going to be getting 45. I think they're actually getting 55 now. We're currently getting 25. With that $20 million, we can make a great new stadium. I'm not sure that's happened. And we'll become a football power. I'm not sure that's happened either. But it's just the pressure. It's the pressure to keep up with the big schools.
Is name, image, and likeness going to be something that creates more parity or less parity?
I think, like all instances when things happen, there are a few people who think, oh my gosh, this will be great for the little guy. It's never good for the little guy. It'll be good for the big guys. One of the reasons, I suspect it's a minor reason, but Texas and Oklahoma are going to have to keep up. There's an Alabama quarterback who's getting $1 million already to play for Alabama. You're going to get more money in the SEC because they care more about it. Your ratings are higher. With the teams you play, the athletes are going to get more money. So the image and likeness to drive people back again to Clemson, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, etc., etc.
What about the medium to tall guy? Not so much the little guy. Someone that's right around 5'11", would have gotten to 6 if it were not for a flag in the Fiesta Bowl.
Like me.
Wait, first of all, there is no such thing as a 5'11" man. Just be real. After about 5'9", everybody's 6. Right? You start at 6. I'm 6'2" and 5'8". I think I'm shorter than Mike. But
Mike is living that lie with his Miami program.
No, it's not true. I believe Mike tells the truth.
Yeah.
But I do see a lot of guys who are 6'4" who are shorter than I am. I don't know what phenomenon that is.
Miami didn't get to 6, but if there's ever an argument for 5'12", it's Fiesta Bowl.
Are we going to see UCF ever in this playoff? Is UCF ever going to get in this game?
I think it's pretty hard, right? It's like these things are like weird college clubs, skull and bones. You don't getting in is a hard thing. I don't think any of these schools want to see another superpower.
They don't want to be in it, Dan. They like occupying their little piece of real estate. If we played, we would have whooped you. Right. Everyone's so unfair to us.
Good
look, anytime it comes to scheduling a game, they're like, okay, home, and away. Home, and away.
Please stop crucifying UCF.
That's right.
Okay,
they
fine.
prefer the illusion of maybe they could win this
game.
game.
It's the only space for them based on the way they've just been boxed out by the superpowers all getting together and forming a monopoly.
Unfortunately, the ACC has Miami and Florida State, and SEC has University of Florida.
Could we see a playoff where every team is from the SEC?
I don't think you could, no. But you will see a disproportionate number of teams, which again, you guys talked about yesterday. This does open up the chance that a 3-loss team can make it, right? If you get to 12.
Yes.
And these things, again, are intertwined. So you're going to see the playoff happen sooner rather than later with more teams.
Is this all the instigation of ESPN? Is this all your fault?
I'd like to take the 5th. Do I have rights? I don't know whether my rights apply here on freedom.
Just say you got hacked, John.
Okay, say I got hacked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking the 5th is always a great way to end the segment.
All right, that is John Skipper, former head of ESPN, giving you a good explanation where money trumps tradition. So, yep, they're moving to the SEC, and super conferences are close. Yeah, they are. All right, this is Ninjas of Another Color podcast. Rate us, review us, give us 5 stars on Google, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. This next section is audience participation. We are going to judge the best speeches in anime history. Alright, I got 4. 2 from Dragon Ball Z, 1 from G.I. Joe, and 1 from Attack of the Titans. So I think I got another one from 3 from DBZ. Yep. Alright. We're gonna post a question on our Facebook page, or you can send us an email at ninjasofanothecolor@Google. Give us a response. Alright. The first one is from Vegeta. I think his writing is awesome. Our first entry is this one. Best speech in anime history.
Don't know why I'm surprised. He has been training for the last 7 years straight. Vegeta.
What's the matter? Not winning as easily as you thought?
I never said it would be easy.
You won't be winning at all. What, clown? Are you feeling angry, humiliated? Is that it? Fool! You don't know what humiliation is! Don't worry, I will teach you its better taste, just as you have taught me. Me, a warrior elite. In my fingertips, I hold the power to destroy entire worlds. I am a Saiyan of royal blood, the last of my kind. And on my shoulders rests the glory of an extinct warrior race. Whole civilizations once trembled at the sound of my name. But you didn't, did you, Kakarot? And at your hands, your common hands, my honor and my pride, the foundations upon which I have always stood, began to crumble at my feet. It was at your hands that I suffered my first great humiliation, toppled by a piece of low-level trash. Imagine my added shame when it was you and not me who avenged our people by defeating Frieza. You, who were the first to achieve the pinnacle of our race. The first in 1,000 years to take a place among the Super Saiyans of legend. A place that I have been raised to believe was my royal birthright. You come from a strong bloodline. And imagine the disgrace I suffered when the strength I had worked my whole life to acquire was surpassed by a mere child. Your half-breed son succeeded where I, the Prince of all Saiyans, had failed. It is time to take back what is mine. I will not live my life as your second. That time is over. Every breath you take is an assault to my honor. But no more, Kakarot. By my hands, you will be cut down inch by inch, the way you have cut down my pride.
Yep, that is Vegeta giving a speech. Next up, our candidate for best speech in anime, we have Storm Shadow. This is from the G.I. Joe Resolute, Storm Shadow.
All games end today. So many years, so many fights, so much hate. I used to tell you that I blamed you for my uncle's death. I only said that because I hoped it might hurt. I used to tell you that it was a matter of honor, that you struck me and vendetta must be observed. But that's a lie. I hate you because he was going to teach you all 7 steps of his most secret martial form instead of me. I hate you because he chose you. That's all. I had him killed by a Cobra sniper. But you, all I've wanted for years is to kill you myself.
Yep. That is Storm Shadow. When he faced Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe Resolute. Alright. We will have another entry by Vegeta. This is Vegeta versus Goku Black. Check it out.
You want to know what your big mistake was, Black? What mistake? It's that stolen body! Every muscle, every cell! His body was built from a lifetime of intense battles! But you took it! It's all second-hand! You feel the power in those Saiyan cells, but you don't truly understand it! Because you didn't build it! And you never learned to think like that clown! Such a huge power gap between us! That's simple. You're an interloper, a Saiyan imposter! And I'm the real thing! The almighty Prince Vegeta!
Yep. Vegeta. Prince Vegeta. That's great writing. Alright, this is our top 5 speeches in anime. Next up, Attack on Titan. Check it out.
Help me out here, Bertold. Your nerves are shot. You don't know what you're saying. Yeah, it's the battle fatigue talking. It's okay, you're okay. If you really were the Armored Titan, what's the endgame here? We wouldn't be having this conversation in the first place. What'd you expect me to do? Say yes? Let myself be kidnapped just because you asked politely?
Right. Not thinking straight, am I? Barely know what I'm saying here. Must have gone off the deep end.
Come on, let's go.
Surrounded by idiots. We were kids. What did we know about anything? Why did there have to be people like this? Why did I let myself devolve into such a half-assed piece of shit? It's Too late now. Damned if I know what's right anymore. Who cares? It is what it is. No choice but to face what I've done. As a warrior, no road left but the one that leads to the end.
Right now? Here? We're doing this?
Yes. Right here, right now. We settle this once and for all.
And for our final entry, you guessed it, the Prince of All Saiyans. Check it out.
Tell me, Vegeta, with that stamp on your head, I know Babbidi's been giving you orders. Is this one of them? Are you trying to fight me because of him? Or is this the same old story between you and me? Which one? Does it really matter?
Not to you, Gohan, but to a warrior it matters greatly. And you know this as well as I do, Kakarot. In a day you'll be back to the dead, and I will not miss this opportunity.
Who are you people? Don't you see the universe matters more than your meaningless squabble?
Meaningless, huh? What do you know of meaningless? Spend most of your life ruled by another. Watch your race dwindle to a handful. And then, tell me what has more meaning than your own strength. I have in me the blood of a Saiyan prince. He is nothing but a joke. Yet I've had to watch him surpass me in strength. My destiny thrown to the wayside. He's even saved my life as if I were a helpless child. He has stolen my honor. And his debts must be paid.
Yep, those are our 5. Go to our website on Facebook, Ninja of Another Color at Facebook, IG, or send us an email at gmail.com. This is Ninjas of Another Color podcast. Today, August 2nd, we talked about the Atlanta Braves, who are currently 4 games out of first place, but they are not playing tonight, and the Mets are, so most likely tomorrow they'll be 5. Talked about tradition over money, the Bad Batch episode 14, Massive Universe Revelation, Flash. I guess we talked about Flash. We talked about the G.I. Joe review. And that's it for us today. We will be back next week. Until then, this is your host, Dwayne Ali. Check us out next week.
John Blackstar, astronaut. Is swept through a black hole into an ancient alien universe. Trapped on the planet Sagar, Blackstar is rescued by the tiny Trobit people. In turn, he joins their fight for freedom against the cruel overlord. Who rules by the might of the Power Star. The Power Star is split into the Power Sword and the Star Sword. And so, with Star Sword in hand, Blackstar, together with his allies, sets out to save the planet Sagar. This is his destiny. I am John Blackstar.